Hello everybody and welcome to Music Real Talk with Marbin. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe. All right, episode 6. I'm going to say the name of the number of the episode every episode. It's going to be like my thing.
Good. We did miss a few things last time. I just thought about some other stuff, but it was long enough.
There's something I want to open up, which always weighs heavy on my mind. It's the life of the singer-songwriter. We have a lot of experience from the outside.
Wait, last week you gave him a cliffhanger.
What was that? We'll get there too.
Okay.
I really want to talk about this.
All right.
We had the experience in our third album. We have a song called "The Ballad of Daniel White,"
and in the second album we have
Daniel White singing. Yeah, the last song. That's right. He wrote the lyrics.
And he sings it so well.
yeah. And we had the experience early on when we were tracking our second album, right? Second album? Before the second album.
Yeah, tracking the second album.
That a friend of mine, Dan, that I went to college with, we were in a band together in college. The band was called the Free Beer Trio. Doesn't matter, we were friends. He came, he was a really, really talented singer-songwriter. Like...
much more talented than Ben.
Yeah, definitely not on the same level as Ben.
No, not the same.
No, much higher level. But yeah, just a great singer-songwriter, great singer, and also had something that me and Danny never
also
saw
better
before.
looking.
Yeah, much better looking.
Than Ben, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, he was kind of better at everything than Ben. But
better man too.
Why would you even bring Ben up in the conversation like this?
Just because Ben hates when we talk about him.
Yeah, it was he wasn't a better friend.
No.
Ben is a better friend. Yeah, my dog even wants to be up for this. Whoa, all right. Because Danny brought the fact that, like I said that Ben is better at something, and then Milton started barking. Because it's like, no, he's not better than anything. Okay, this is kind of an inside joke, but I'll
they know bad Ben.
That's right.
I guess not everybody does,
not
but
everybody
some people do.
No, yeah. In any case, we're talking about Dan, not Ben. And Dan had something that me and Danny both never seen before, which was he could hypnotize people. He had star power. It was amazing to watch him do his thing. Like, he would enter a room, sing a few songs, and people there just treated him like he was famous.
When Danny says a room, not a show. Like, he could not do a show.
Yeah, he couldn't do a show.
He would freak out, and but he was playing in a living room with strangers.
Right. He would open his mouth, he would sing, he would play an acoustic guitar, and just had this human power, something from the old world, something that doesn't exist anymore, And it was also something that's hard to capture in a recording, definitely in Pro Tools with like click tracks and editing and all this. Some human power channeling through music that was undeniable and strong. And me and Danny
it's
could
weird
because
when you see it, when you see stuff like that filmed, it's not the same. Like, you have to learn, like a lot of us people's the stuff we have to study is how to transfer it to film and to record.
How to behave in front of a camera, right? But when you see it play out in life, you know, for me, I sing. A lot of you guys know, like, I sing for fun, and like, I do, like, things like that. I dabbled in writing, but the one thing I've always struggled with, and I know I'm not good at, is where do you direct that energy of a song? Like, you're in a room with a person. Do you look them in the eye? That's awkward.
Yeah.
Do you look at your feet? That's distant. It's like, where?
Well, he had 1,000 miles too.
Yeah, exactly. You need to see beyond your surroundings.
You don't look at the people. He told us that. He doesn't look at the people. He looks beyond the people.
Yes, exactly. You don't look at the people. You look beyond the people. Like, what does that mean? Think about. But it's not something you can fake. He was living in a reality that was tormenting him too. And okay, so our situation was that he came to Chicago
Well, he sent us a recording.
Yeah, he sent us a recording. It was bad, and he liked our first album. And some of the stuff we were putting down for the second album, I think we showed him some bounces. And he was like saying, help me produce this for me. And we decided we're going to
I think we offered, because he wasn't happy with what he was getting. So we were like, listen, come here. We'll help you get it done.
Right. And we started this process that took, how long? A year? Something like that?
No, a little bit less. Yeah, I guess until we were done, yes.
Of making his album. And it was a nightmare. It was fighting every step of the way. And we just didn't agree on anything, and he couldn't surrender power to us in the arrangements.
Yeah, at the end, because I became good friends with him, and I just quit and just became a friend of his, basically.
I didn't quit, and we haven't spoke. We don't. That really kind of ruined our relationship. I mean, we still talk occasionally, but it's not like it was. It was so real. We reached some deep impasses.
Yeah.
And we butted heads a lot, and I was insistent. He was insistent. And it was impossible. It was impossible to produce. It was, for me, seeing a guy like that, which you rarely see, but occasionally you do see a talented writer who can also sing, but has some sort of character thing that's like, it's somehow all the potential is locked behind the gate. It's like you see like this, like $1 million check walking around the street, but it's inside of a transparent chest, and you don't have the combination to unlock it. It's very frustrating, because Danny did like a little tour with him. He would just set up and you said like in front of some hipster girls. He was
I told Dan that what he should go for is like hipster John Mayer.
Yeah, John Mayer for hipster chicks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, which is John Mayer for regular chicks, and hipster John Mayer. Yeah.
Right. Hipster John Mayer. That would have been a great model. Never happened. And it's very strange, but what I want to talk about...
He hated it, obviously. But
what I want to talk about is not Dan specifically. That was our initial interaction with it. Then later on, after that kind of fell apart, we had Bad Ben open for us for years. And Ben's really a friend of ours. And
I won't say for you. I don't know, a little bit more than a year and a half.
And he came toured with us before that without playing.
Oh, no, 2 years, you're right.
2 years, yeah.
2 years.
And I think for a lot of people, it was probably pretty strange to have this guy, opening up the shows, like just doing solo singer-songwriter. We thought it wouldn't matter. At the end, we all decided it's not working, more us than him. But the thing that really blows my mind, and why I'm bringing this up, is with Fusion, I always felt like we were playing loud, we were playing fast, we were commanding a lot of attention, and we never needed to, we still needed to win the room, but it was a different kind of winning. Meaning people would be put in this fight or flight mode from the volume and the intensity.
Yeah, you can't stay for an entire Fusion show if you don't like it.
Yeah, so it splits the room. But with singers, when you're playing stuff at a temperature that you can be ignored, and also right now it's kind of like the human, the one-on-one part of the interaction is kind of, it's awkward. I feel like there must have been something in the world before we were around that was a little bit different.
Well, before mics,
Yeah, that before mics.
Everything was less loud, and before stereo systems, everything had to be in lower volume.
And before people had phones in their pockets. I mean, I always think about like the time. And something I bring up a lot is like the role of the musician in society before PA systems. Like before, I mean, could you imagine you're going out with your friend? I mean, now you can't imagine that at all, breathing their air. But like, you're going out and you're in a bar and it's awesome and there's music and you're smoking cigarettes inside, whatever, drinking, laughing. And all of a sudden the music stops because the band's on break and there's no more music.
And you have measles and you die. Didn't see that coming.
I didn't see that coming. No, but there's no PA system. There's no like music when the music stops. Yeah. This whole thing of like music being this valuable commodity where you want people, you want them to just keep playing indefinitely to have as a bar owner or or as an audience member, just so the
That's
music
part
is
of
there.
why the people were so good, though, because they were also playing all the time. Well, shows everywhere, and everybody got to play all the time.
Yeah, but that jump between silence and sound, I would assume, would really help the show. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what like.
It's so funny because Louis Armstrong tells stories, and you hear stories about New Orleans about trumpet used to be like the main instrument because it was so loud and it projects so well. So trumpet players will just stand outside of clubs and just play a little bit and draw the people in.
Mm-hmm.
And now I remember when I think in 2000, it happens to us all the time, but like I think the first time we really noticed it was in Syracuse in 2011, that we were there in December for the first time and we played this bar, and everywhere is packed other than the music venues.
Yeah.
Like the music venues are completely empty and the bars are slammed.
TVs with like sports
Syracuse
games.
is like, yeah. And it's like, oh my God, like music, instead of being the thing that drives people in, it's the thing that drives them out.
Right. It's like, oh, I don't want to watch a show tonight.
Yeah, even if it's free.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. It's not even the paying. It's like, if it's free, they rather not go to a show.
Right. Right, because it's like, oh, that's going to ruin Friday night.
Yeah.
I need to go get fucked up, hang out, and,
Pick up ladies.
Pick up ladies, yeah, that's the game now. Yeah, it's a bizarre thing, but there was something I remember. I was watching Rogan, and they were talking about like the guy at the party that picks up the guitar. It's like oh no, like like oh that guy, like who's like wants to play like for the girls, and and I obviously understand their perspective on it, but I can't help but feel for all these people, probably some of you listening, who you have this urge to play for people. It's like you have this desire, like you learn, maybe, I don't know if it's Johnny Cash songs or standards or whatever, like the singer-songwriter thing. It's like it comes from such a pure place sometimes, not just people wanting to be rock stars, but like, it's really something that you shouldn't mock. Like, it's such a nice thing in a way that it's like, you shouldn't really mock people for, it's like, you want to, is the dog crying?
Yeah, what's going on?
He's just looking out the window. Yeah, because it's a sad subject, Milton. It's a sad subject. He has that too. But like, that thing where you just, some people do it for mating, but the urge, it's not purely just to get women or something. You want to give somebody something of your own through singing, through playing, through whatever. And there's no more pocket for that to happen in
society.
Society. That thing is closed. Like, it's like, oh, I just, unless you're famous, that's the only way it opens up again.
But even that, it's like barely, because it's very tough to do. Like, it's very tough to do it without singing. Like, we can do it when it's two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we played some gypsy jazz and some things. And again, it's possible. Like, again, I saw Dan do it, but still it's very delicate. It's always a very delicate situation. And, and it can just go sideways very quickly. Like, a lot of people would really not like it.
I think I'm somewhat of an expert in doing it. Like, I can go into any room with a guitar and just bulldoze through the atmosphere and do it.
Just start noodling louder.
Yeah.
Start singing.
And again, some people fucking hate it. Some people, but like, at a certain point, you got to choose if it's you or them. Now, I'm not saying I'm winning rooms like Dan did. That was amazing. That was like taking this, but he also didn't open. He didn't open up this door, this side reality. He had to be invited into it.
Yeah.
Or somebody had to egg him on or open it for him. He could never take this.
Yeah,
space.
Somebody would have to ask him to play.
Yeah, play me a song, and then he would really
get into it
and really transform the whole thing. But it's a strange thing because it's like, for people with that desire, you have to be so tough now. And I've seen with Ben, who writes, what I consider, good songs and sings them well, standing in front of our audience
better than 99.9% of people in Lynchburg.
Yes.
100% true, but it's better than 99.9%.
I would add some nines.
9.
Yeah, so And no, and he is very good, but our like coming to a fusion show, or it was the people, something, it just didn't.
But Ben was also, it's
connect.
more than that, because Ben was already great at like singing his songs on stage. You know what I mean? It's like Dan never got to that place, and Ben just was so good at already at like with the mic and to make the show work.
How surprised were, like we thought it would work. We thought it would.
Well, I didn't know, but I thought it would work better when it did, right? Yeah. But I also, you were right, because you told me it won't. No, you told me it won't from the beginning, and I was like, who knows, maybe something will happen. But you were right. It's like the people that it could happen with, it's like it's not the type of people that come to our shows.
That's right. That's right. Know? Yeah, it's a weird thing.
And also it's a weird thing of like what can happen. Like there is an issue that, again, some people get picked up. Right?
Discovered,
but there is no rhyme or reason to it.
That's what I told you. I said, like, if you're writing songs about your feelings with chords, people that are scouting talent right now consider that to be music of 50 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
like if you write songs
Billy Joel style,
yeah,
or
Billy Joel, Beatles, Paul Simon, like kind of mesh of those kind of stuff.
The executives are in their 20s now, so this is their grandparents' music.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even know a single, like they probably could list 300 names of people who they consider famous that I would hear about for the first time in that conversation. And it's very strange because for me, like if it's hip hop or pop, it's absolute rejection. I hate that stuff. I don't even care. I mean, I can give it a chance, but like I know from the first second of the first song that like I'm not gonna. It doesn't go into the same pile of music that I examine seriously. Just like depending on the production. That's not to say that nobody did a good job. What's the name of that really fat guy? Singer-songwriter.
John Molan.
Hang me on
John Molan.
Tulsa County stuff.
John Molan.
John Molan, right. Yeah, he's a badass. There are occasionally like some decent people, even people I don't like so much, like Rodriguez. What's his name? Not Rodriguez. The guy that talks like Leonard Cohen.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I forget his name too. But he's good.
He's good at something.
He's good at something. But he is good at something.
He has something, yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't it something Rodriguez?
It might be.
Yeah. I don't know. Ramirez.
David Ramirez. Yeah.
Ramirez. Yeah. Cousins. Yeah. Them. Even Jason Isbell, I can take some of his songs. I think the lyrics are okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Again, I've a lot of stuff. It's fine. I'm just not that into it.
Yeah, but
there's nobody that I'm like there are some people that I like a song here or there.
Mm-hmm.
I like the song that Owen Benjamin used to sing, the Trouble song.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But it's like I try to listen to other stuff there. It's like, no.
It's tough. And I think it has to do with this thing that like, this strange death of poetry too, where it's just talking about your emotions and your take on things verbally and trying to like carry that kind of thing encapsulated in poem form to another human being is an awkward exchange nowadays, no matter what. It's like, it's hard. For some reason, that was something that was really prevalent in art and it's like an acceptable vehicle, of transmission. And now it's like, it's just, I don't see it in the world. People don't kind of like, check out my feelings, like check out like what I actually feel for this lady.
I don't know, I was a lot of time on like I took a break after last time I was in Israel, but in February, but a lot of times on Shabbat is end of Friday, beginning of Saturday. It's I would listen to Israeli music, and I always am amazed by how. Again, I grew up there. I go there every 2 years, something like that, year and a half, 2 years. How the Israel I like the most is the one that's in those songs, right?
Yeah.
It's not the one that exists now, and it really didn't even exist when I was a kid, right? So it's like it's the best things of Israel in a very specific light, basically, right? So it's like that's with songs. It's a lot of that. It's hard for me to explain because on one way, like even if you listen to American songs, right? the fantasy of something is always better than the thing itself when it comes to art. So it's like listening to Johnny Cash and you think about, old America.
Yeah, and it's like he's riding in a jet. It's like it seems out of place. Or like, could you imagine Hank Williams Sr. in the 40s in a fucking elevator in a skyscraper?
Yeah.
It just does. It seems out of place. Like the landscape they're painting is always nostalgic for a place and time that was already lost, and that's kind of, But now,
but yeah, it's part of the magic. But it's like but there is also a certain amount of dissonance, because you're with one leg there and one leg here. Basically, that's, it's like always we have dichotomy of good stuff with music, right? But it's like. Right now, those people are just both legs in here. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's like the world now is just so...
What would they be nostalgic for? Which area? Like the 80s?
Yeah.
And
it's also so not magical, like what's going on now. It's like because everything is known. You Google everything, right? It's like, dude, Googling things on one... I thought about that too. That I'm addicted. A lot of the parts that I'm addicted to is Googling things. Because I think, I don't spend as much time on social media actually as people, but I do spend a ton of time just Googling things like when we invented toilets, when we started, do monkeys shit in one place? Or when I read about all the different types of monkeys. Because like there is no, like did monkeys start that kind of toilet thing, right?
Right.
Why don't you make, if you make Dalmatian, like, I don't know, you make, what's your dog? Dachshund. If you make Dachshund, can you make like a cobra python snake? so it's like, so I just Google those things.
It seems like a time commitment.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. So it's like I just Google. And before that, you'll just have the idea.
Well, think about the upside. You become a fascinating person.
But I'm not. It's the opposite. Because before that, I will just have the idea. And the end of the idea would be, who knows? And now it ends with like, no. It's not possible.
You get a seat at the table and like the Senate, it's like lean into the mic. It's like, you cannot make a cobra python. Thank you very much. It's like the senator from Wisconsin spoke.
It's like you can't do a cobra python. It's like back in the day before Google, you can think about all those crazy snakes you can make, right? You can make a lot of crazy snakes.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, snakes and birds will want to like, can you make flying snakes?
Yeah, my dad's a physics professor, and I can't even imagine like his kind of people, like when they were like in the general population before Google, they could say anything they wanted.
Yeah.
It's like, I got a doctorate. And then it's like, yeah, sure, you can. It's called a Python.
Python.
They've been known to.
Yeah, the problem is that they can't reproduce.
Yeah.
And now you can just have the answer for everything. I'm saying it's like this world is so lame, right?
Is.
Unless you want to ask what a scale is. Then nobody knows other than the two of us. But yeah.
That's true. Well, that's always the thing too. With Googling, it's like try to once you actually know something, and you try to like find the same answer that you know to be true about music, you're like, oh, because when you start reading the stuff online, it's like,
but you're like, but everything else that I read is true.
Yeah, the other stuff is all true.
Just the part that I know is not true.
Yeah, wherever I have expertise, they seem to have just missed the mark somehow. I don't know.
But all the other stuff that I'm learning is super accurate.
Well, I mean, I guess.
Why are you taking your socks off?
I had enough of being captured by it.
Okay.
Yeah, with Google, I mean, you can notice a great trend, which is people become more and more knowledgeable around you because they have the answers.
Yeah, but it's stupid answers. They don't really. It's like you can.
No, I'm kidding. It's not what you see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bizarre kind of phenomenon. So yeah, so the world is lame, and it makes lame people. But why is it that they're so, like, what would need to happen for somebody to just kind of enter a bar that you happen to be sitting and for some reason take out a guitar?
I remember when you were dating for a second after you got your divorce, that because you were alone, I was already married, so we didn't hang out that much at night.
Right.
And it was like, you said it's like you're sick of being on your phone because on your phone all day or on the computer. And it's like you want to go out and just, talk to people and, have some interactions. but everybody else is on their phone, so it's not like you can even not do it.
Yeah, it's a lonely world out there, and I mean, I don't know. That was for me. I would just go to any bar with my guitar and take it out and start playing, and then some nights people would stop by me and gravitate. Sometimes they wouldn't. I just got totally desensitized to it, and I can see from the outside how this is like totally insane behavior and probably ruined the night for a lot of people who weren't in the mood for me. But I just,
people sometimes film you with their phones.
I didn't care. Yes, yes, it is very stupid. It's like, that whole thing too. It's like in shows too. It's like, oh, I mean, so many people have talked about it, but it's just, it's crazy. But the thing that always fascinated me was the Milton. Sorry.
Why is it barking?
I don't know. He sees things out the window. I think he's just really triggered by the singer-songwriter thing. Because last
he was a singer-songwriter.
Yeah, in the previous life. Yeah, the thing that always fascinates me is just like, let's say that you do have a person who has something great to say. Like, let's assume you've overcome all the hurdles of writing great songs, and you're a beautiful soul, and you've put down all this stuff. Like, what do you do with it? And this idea of being discovered, it's not going to happen unless you're absolutely current, right? It's like you need to do something that's connected either to the mainstream or to a stream that's main enough, like Americana or something, and in with the right people. And I don't know, are they scouting? Like, it seems like these people can write songs.
I never thought that has to do with it. It's very short. The thing now also that you have to be your own promoter, right? So it's like there's some things that I don't mind doing. So it's like everything, like live feeds that you're doing, or like just doing, a podcast. Like there's a lot of things that are kind of fun.
Yeah.
And we're also, like, they're nice as their own thing. Mm-hmm. But the thing about Charlie Parker writing on a saxophone group, hey guys, check out my album with
Burning
strings.
Solo in Cherokee.
Yeah, check out my album with strings. Well, I hope you like it, LOL. It's like, dude. It's like, but I do it too sometimes. I like, hey, we just released a new album with Marbin.
It's terrible.
And I put it in a group. It's like, I can't do it. It's so hard.
It makes you want to puke.
Yeah, I put it and I'm like, it's like, and it doesn't help.
Coltrane's like, check out the break and the second chorus. You won't believe what happened next.
Exactly. It's like this thing of like, hey guys, look at me. You know what I'm saying?
Begging for the attention.
Because instead of commanding the attention, begging for it, because you can't command it through a computer screen when there are a million things.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying in real life, everybody's like watching their computer screens too, or even worse, when they're not. It's like how it's the amount of atomization that is happening. Because I would like to believe that if I was sitting in a cafe and somebody was playing something, I would turn around and I do turn around. I'm like, oh, that guy sucks. That's what usually happens. But if it's amazing, it never happened to me. But I would hope that I would have the awareness to recognize that this is happening, and maybe that there is some sort of path forward for people like that in the world. That enough people can recognize talent. But I know from experience that, like, people just, they don't know what they have. Like, they see a guy like Dan, they have maybe an emotional reaction, but then it's like, yeah, that guy that played guitar was really good. Like, good guitar players are probably a lot of famous. It probably happens all the time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It happens like almost none of the time. It's an amazing thing. All right. We can go to subject number 2, which is jazz, the jazz world that we started to talk about in the previous episode, and the free market, and this weird transition between the 70s model to the 80s model that we're still living in now, that just got worse and worse and more centralized over the years.
Well, I think that, again, not to be too cynical about it, I just think that, it was after there was enough jazz, like enough, like a good substantial amount of greats in jazz, and it was, but it was no longer that popular. I think that a lot of people were thinking, it's like, this is like the greatest American like invention as far as culture goes.
And they were right.
Right? Yeah. And it's like an amazing thing that's like pure American. We should conserve it. That's what I think it went from, right? And the problem is once you start trying to conserve something.
Well, the problem is you got to ask yourself, is it really going away? Or are you trying, or are people saying it's going away to start a business? You know, because in the 70s...
I think it was going away. I just think that it's just...
I don't know. I think that would be a nice empirical study to see the amount of CD sales in, let's say, bebop or swing in the 70s compared to now. So
compared to now, yeah.
Or compared to the 80s. You know, so I mean...
But a lot of times when people say they're going to do something, they end up doing the exact opposite, right? So I think, it's true that they sold more bebop CDs then than now. So, right? So you can say, whatever it was, it failed.
Right.
But I don't think that it was,
But I do think people with maybe even good intentions, or at least they think they have good intentions, they're convinced that what they're doing is important, can push some sort of doomsday button that changes something very fundamental about the way the music is distributed. And I think that's really what happened in jazz. Once you start once the mode of operation is conservation rather than creation, than innovation, then you have you see it in the classical world in an absurd way, right? I mean, why are there no more classical composers after, like, I don't know, Piazzolla, Debussy?
Yeah, like the only thing that you can ever like, it's so financed by donations and by governments that you can only have two things. Either you're gonna
play Beethoven
or play like modern music that nobody wants to hear. Those are the two things that going on, because that's the only thing that gets funded. Mm-hmm. Like stuff that's like just nice music that's new. It's like nobody puts money into it.
Right, which is insanity, you know, because it's the real growth happens with when you have music that people like, you know, music that's just good new music. That's certainly what I like, you know, with no sort of kind of agenda behind.
But the people that have to do with funding and donations and all that stuff, they're simple. So I remember, you know, you have to write you don't have to do anything, but you kind of have to write a press release for your album, mm-hmm. right? People expect it if it's on radio or if it's on...
For those of you who don't know what a press release is, it's basically you telling lazy reviewers what to write about you.
Well, it's the story of the album, basically, right? So it's like if you go to our Bandcamp, in every album there is a story, you know, mm-hmm. and like a simple narrative that we attach to it. And the reason is you have to come up with a new thing every time. But the new thing sometimes just, we wrote new music.
Right.
And we're playing it, and we think it's better because we're working on it, and, you know, we practiced a lot, we played a lot. So it's very, so bringing back to what I was saying, that when you ask for donations and stuff, people need to be like, oh, why is this different? Because they're like, oh, this is cutting edge, new techniques, like completely avant-garde, like modern, putting EDM in it, right. Deconstructing the music style. You can't be like, oh, because this is nice music, but everything is unique. It's like Billy Joel, like simple example, Billy Joel and Paul Simon use the same tools exactly, mm-hmm. but they're completely different than each other. Right? Like, I don't know, Townes Van Zandt and Leonard Cohen, completely different than each other.
Sure.
Right? Even though we use the same tools.
Right, same chords,
same language, same type of language,
right.
even.
Same register.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, but those things you can't have a simple narrative that explains to people, oh, this is why it's different. Yeah. It's different because the person creating it is different, and, you know, music is you know, it's unlimited, it's endless. So,
well, I mean, it's tough when, like, the pitch to get something out there, you have to basically be your own, like, PR agent that's coming up with, like, a way to bottle it and package it and sell it. You know, it's like, it's almost like you have to think about it in advance. But I mean, knowing musicians, especially the good ones, you know, in jazz, you're dealing with abstract. You're dealing with symmetry of lines, with chords that sound good to you, with rhythmic structures you might kind of want to wrestle with for a while, that are new to you and see what you can do with it, what it emerges. It's always finding this balance where, I think a good album, like writing good new music and making an album, has to do with really, like Leonard Cohen said it, and I think it's absolutely true. It's a search. Writing is a search for your self-respect, and that's all it is at the end of the day. Because I can pick up the guitar right now, and I can call every little song, every little sound I make a song if I repeat it, and I can write it down on a piece of paper. But that wouldn't be a song I ever write. It's something needs to happen. I need to locate something, and what is this thing that you locate? A lot of people are mystified. It's like, what's your process with writing? It's like, well, I have to sit there and look and have and look for something I like. And then when I find something I like, I need to look for something else I like to attach to it and keep it going until I feel like that's enough of a structure. And then I'm going to have to look at it and see if it fits with what we happen to be doing with our band at the time, and whether it fits with the other songs that we wrote already for this album. And then I'm going to have to, teach it to everybody and see what it's like to play on it and how it plays out in reality. And maybe then change it to have some sort of a little bit of some hurdles for myself and some unusual things that I haven't done before, to see if, like, improvising inside this thing, I can find some newness, and find something that brings out things in me that are interesting to address. And through that whole process, you end up finding something that's kind of dialed into the right level of, challenge and nuance that an exciting new piece has. And I think that's the real hard thing about talking to people about composition. And people are constantly asking about that, especially like masterclass. It's like, your process. It's because they have no self-respect. You can't write anything if you can't locate your self-respect. You can't write anything if you don't like anything the moment you put a stamp on it. That's the problem most people have. People rarely have the other problem, but they do. They do. I still remember I saw probably the most appalling thing I've ever seen in my life, and I was absolutely addicted to it. It was Esperanza Spalding making an album on Facebook Live. I couldn't stop watching it. It was like...
Which is another thing. It's like that she put herself through it, right? Because it's like you have to have a gimmick. Yeah, because you have to have a gimmick.
And it was like... Ben, not to mention Ben too much, but Ben did that one time, triggered the shit out of me and Danny, because he wrote like one verse in a song and then he's like, and then he just repeated it, the verse, not the chorus, the second time. He's like, and we're like, that you shouldn't play that live. It's not done. He's like, it's done when I say it's done.
Yeah, he did it on purpose.
And he did it on. And he did it on. He eventually finished the song because he's not retarded. But she was doing things like that in the studio, just. And that's all ego. That's an insane, dangerous amount of ego. That's the kind of ego you're like, I want to cross the street.
Again, giving her the benefit of the doubt, I'm just guessing that she was in such like chaos and like psychosis for her, because it's like, oh my God, I have to do something. Everybody's watching. She had it was just when Facebook Live started.
Right.
So it was like, they pushed it. It was tons of people. It was like thousands of people at a time.
Like a reality TV show.
Yeah. And she was like, I have to do something.
But I don't know, are the songs any worse than the rest of her catalog?
I wouldn't know.
Me neither. But that would be interesting to check. Listen to the finished thing.
Whoever listens to her albums, please let us know.
Yeah. But anyways, I do remember watching it, and like the stuff that they would like come up with kind of spontaneously. I was like, okay, they're looking for something. And then they're like,
immediately, yes. Immediately, yes.
It's like, yeah. And then they record it. They track it. They put it down.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? That didn't sound good. And it's like, it's just committing to your first notion. And it's like, to me, that's not writing. Writing, you have to drag it through the actual filter. Your body is like the factory, and you got to test it. You got to test drive the thing.
And
see
again,
if it doesn't fall apart.
Even when you do all of that, a lot of times things just don't click, and when some songs just don't come out that well. It happens to us. Like some songs, we had some songs that came out great live, and just in recordings didn't come out as well, or like something didn't happen, and just it
doesn't happen. Don't do it.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying it didn't happen. We did the best.
Yeah.
But it still didn't click as much as it could have clicked.
Sure.
Right? But that's with all the scrutiny.
Yeah,
it's like without scrutiny, it's like you've got nothing. What are you doing?
It's a matter of how much shelf life you want your music to have. You got to do some quality control. You got to take it out for a test drive. Look at it in the factory before it sees the light of day. But the flip side of that is that you can't be a worm. Like being a worm doesn't work in music. It's better to be a psychopath, sociopath. Zero quality.
It's better to have too much self-esteem than none.
When you're a worm, you don't have a future in this business because you're not capable of selecting, and if you can't make choices, there's no path forward.
And again, you have to command attention, and if you're a person that don't feel like you deserve any attention,
then you're not going to get it.
Well, it's like, what are you doing then? It's like, hey, can you guys look at me?
Just hoping that a spotlight would just fall on you.
And then you were like in panic, like, oh my God, they hate me. Just wait for it to be over.
Right.
We saw a lot of people like that.
A lot. And that's just unfortunate. That's the wrong guy profession, for the profession. Yeah. Because you need to want some spotlight. It's just, if you truly don't.
And you have to feel comfortable in it too.
Yeah.
It's otherwise.
Yeah, it's very strange. But a lot of times you see somebody like just in the wrong gig.
Well, they're in love in what they thought the profession is and not who our profession is, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I think the thing about life in general is that it's a process. It's not a process of discovering yourself. It's a process of creating yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think that's both me and Danny's guiding philosophy in music, and that's really the point of deviation philosophically between us and a lot of our contemporaries, because that's not the popular notion right now. The popular notion is that deep inside you are a genius. You sing your voice that only you can hear.
Your technique and what you learn is just a tool to show people what you got inside.
To tap into your limitless potential that lives inside you. And
that's not. It's not true.
Anybody who tells you that,
it's just wrong.
It's just Indians tell you that to bang you in like a gangbang in an ashram.
Are you talking about Bikram?
Yeah, but it's new agey and it's not true. The truth is, you're born ignorant, knowing nothing. And you use these giants as like beacons of light at the end of tunnels to orient yourself, and your technique is something you build, and you can work on your imagination, the same way you can work on your hands. At the end of the day, it's just, if you remove yourself from the equation, if you don't think you're that great and you think the music is great, then you have solid ground to start building something from nothing, from zero, just layer by layer, notes, motion, technique, chords, whatever. You can just stack up a little structure that allows you some freedom eventually, and you can find stuff in there. So there's something extremely healthy about people engaging in trade around music, because it creates a meritocracy. And you can see, and people strive. I think that's really the one thing about early jazz, about Charlie Parker. You keep hearing about the jam sessions, about the gigs. It was clear that the best players play in the best bands, right? Because the best bands had an interest, had an invested interest in playing the best, and there was an element of chaos and surprise. The solo section in a song, where if you're in Duke Ellington's band, it was clear that the alto player gets a solo, and if you're Johnny Hodges, and you can just do these swoops and just give everybody goosebumps, then that's a good thing, And this kind of meritocracy, I think, encouraged people to strive, to build technique.
Well, I think the advantage of that is that the people that decide, at the end of the day what's good is the people listening. So, at the end of the day, the people who decide about Marbin, if we're good or not, are the people buying tickets to our shows, right? And buying our albums. But when you go to a different business model, which is the business model of if you play in the CSO, or if you play Chicago Symphony Orchestra, whatever.
It's the CSO.
Yeah, the CSO. if you play in their place, or like all those concert series, or even the jazz festivals that are funded, like Chicago Jazz Festival or whatever. Yeah. It's like, it's no longer the people decide. It's the people that book you that decide.
Committees.
The committees decide. And
that's the famous saying, if you want to get nothing done, form a committee. But it's not true, because they do get something done. They get to push their own aesthetic.
Yeah. Like they will decide. It's like for them, again, we never have nothing against these people, because they're just acting like any other person would act. I would act the same way if it was me, right? Like the people that book the Chicago Jazz Festival. There is no other jazz band in Chicago that sells as many tickets as we do in Chicago. Well, just there is none. Okay?
Zero.
Even people that you think are much more famous than us from the Chicago scene, whatever.
We sell more tickets from a lot of them combined.
Yeah. It's just, it's not happening. But we never played the Chicago Jazz Festival. We were never invited.
We couldn't pass the gatekeepers.
Yeah, we still don't, right? Well, now there's nothing. But I'm saying, it's like we were never invited. Because they don't care about it. That's the honest truth. They don't care. I actually think it's the opposite. I think when you have a little bit of power, you guard it with your life.
You see, the people there thinking I'm not sure what they're thinking, but they're not aware, I know that for sure, about the damage they're creating, because musicians need to eat. People, and people are smart. They understand, well, they're not very smart, but everybody has a very good way of understanding the short game. And musicians, you often see make trade-offs where they invest in the short game rather than the long game. The short game being, their gigs this year and next year and the scene or whatever, and the long game being their career. So if you see, let's say, a band emerges and all of a sudden people start getting booked, could be like in the avant-garde circuit, or, all of a sudden it's, Snarky Puppy's popular and everybody's playing like, jazz gospel mixed with huge bands. Whatever it is, the trend is happening. And you see people, kind of gravitating towards that. And you see people playing ball with it, like, committees playing ball with it. People dress a certain way, dashikis are in, or whatever's in, something becomes in, and these people get booked. And you all of a sudden see this thing, and regardless of what you like or dislike, just make these moves, like lose your center, go towards that shining light. You may get the gig, but it's always at the expense of the people that would actually like you following your vision. Because your vision at the end of the day is not big and not and it's uncompromised.
I think even for people, if it's, because we saw it a lot too. It's like some people, when you're a booker, you're just another person like anybody else when you book those festivals or committees. They like some people and don't like some people, right? They might not like fusion.
That's been
I heard it from people that book there that said, fusion is something that's been done in the 70s.
Yeah.
I was like, well, jazz is something that's been done in the 20s.
Right.
Right? So it's like, what does it mean? It's like we're nothing like any other fusion band, like, if you A-B us. So, but it's like for them, no, fusion is outdated. It's like, no, you guys are outdated too.
Yeah.
But it's somebody that decides. So they like some people. So even the people that they like legitimately like to just the way they are, we're also doing them a disservice. Because you see a lot of people that I'm talking about the more famous people in jazz right now, that before all the COVID stuff. So they would play a festival here in Chicago. And if they play a show in Chicago, they can draw maybe 100 people,
Right.
So like you draw 100 people, you can make, like $2,000, $1,800, something like that if you sell CDs and stuff. Depends on tickets, obviously, but so probably you can make between $1,000.
But the CSO gig pays $7,000.
Yeah, but the CSO gig $7,000, and over festival, right? The festival, so it plays like $10,000, and when, and when we have another festival like in the West Coast, and then another festival, a few festivals in Europe, and that's their career. And when we're like, hey, do you want to come and play in Kentucky, like let's say Louisville? Not in jazz festival, because we don't have a jazz festival. Well, we do, but like Lexington. And we're like, how much? He's like, I don't know, $500.
How much ever people come and buy tickets to see us?
Yeah, so like $500, and the person's like, I'm not gonna come for $500. I can't pay my musician. I pay for $10,000 a day. It's like, but they're not really.
They bought a subscription. They don't know who you are.
Even if they do know where you are, it's like they're not they're not putting their money down and coming out of our house
to see you,
or on a specific occasion to see
right.
you. So, most people also don't get to play, and that's how you have like a lot of the famous jazz musicians that flew to play all over the world, play in Australia and Europe and Asia, and like in every country.
And have never been to
but
Mississippi.
never been to Kansas.
Right.
It's like we've been to every state other than Alaska and Hawaii. And we drove went by foot to Mexico. We played all over Canada. It's just, because we can get there with our car and there are people there. But like for most people, it's like they won't even go to the next town over.
A big part of freedom, though, when you don't have management and don't have a booking agent, is that you're free to take your own risks. So it's like a lot of these gigs, if nobody showed up, we would have made $0.
Yeah.
$0 and lost money on the day. But
But that's why we do a lot of days in a row. So if you have a bad day,
you can have a bad show.
Up.
Yeah, you can have a bad show. You'll make it up. Exactly, it averages out. So yeah, it's a no guts, no glory kind of situation.
But it is crazy that a lot of people that live in New York City played all over the world, but never played Buffalo, New York.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what it really does is that it fucks with your perception of value. And for musicians, that's deadly because a lot of, we talked about it in the context of, and this is something I love, like people out of school when it's like, a venue is like, how much do you charge? And they don't know what to say because they have to decide what they're worth. And they're just throwing a number between $1 and $100,000 randomly.
Yeah.
They might say thousands, and it's like, I sell beer. It's like, so
we are I have to interject. We looked. I don't know why, but we needed a sub bassist, right? Was it a bassist? Yeah, it was a bassist.
Recently? When was it?
No.
For John?
No.
What was it?
Forever ago.
Okay.
And when we met Eric for the first time, I think, yeah. And we talked to this kid bass player, right? He was like 18 or something, 19. And he looked at our tour. Oh, we tried to talk to Muscatel about it. And we were just looking for a sub. Now we would never look for a sub for something that big. We'll just get a new one. But I'm saying we're looking for a sub. And this guy was asking us, like, he never done anything in his life. And he was asking us for, like,
plane tickets
from gig to gig. And I was like, we're going from from Memphis to Little Rock, Arkansas to Eureka Springs, Arkansas. So you're going to have to go to Memphis every day to fly to the
back
close airport.
Memphis.
Back to Memphis, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, and he asked us for so much money in his own hotel room and like crazy, like
he had some family,
like food budget and gospel.
He had some family in the gospel industry, and they were telling him what, like, they basically were telling him what union wages are, and we're like, dude.
Which again makes sense because the money, they get money from people because people give to Jesus, and and the church has it, and the church has it, and the church pays them.
I know, it's fucked up, but again, it's not fucked up in their industry, but. I said this on the Guitar Wank episode I did, which is true still weeks after, which is in a free country, you're free to price yourself out of labor. And
which what the guy did.
Yeah, that's what he did. He just basically said, this is how much money I need, and I'm not going to convince you of what you need. I'm just you're putting me in a position where I'm like, okay, I can't hire you.
You know what I just saw again? I saw this saxophone player was telling he was like, listen, everybody's gonna go back to work soon doing like events, like weddings and shit. And he was like, you got to charge more than like $50 a night, or like you can't charge $50 a night. It's like people need to eat. People need, like, you're not self-respecting yourself. You're destroying the market for everybody else. Don't charge it. And I was like, dude, it's crazy. You can't compete. It's like, I don't remember who told this joke about like, like Mexicans taking your job. If somebody comes to this country and he doesn't even speak the language or have papers and he took your job, then you're shit at your job. Right? I don't remember which comedian said that. But it's, I think
it's Doug Stanhope.
Is it? Yeah. But it's true. It's like, dude, if somebody that doesn't have anything going for him. Nobody knows him. He doesn't have gigs.
That's how you compete.
You take less money. We used to play for free.
Yeah.
We used to play for free, and we used to pay. And now,
it's people who have no skills and a lot of experience being upset that the money that they used to charge doesn't get, they can't get it from people because there is competition now, because those people probably participated in training those competitions and robbing them in schools, and then these people come out of colleges and they need to not even pay rent because they can't, but buy groceries, and they just want to play because they're.
And again, you want to build it up.
Yeah.
We played in Chicago.
So you start from very little.
We used to play in Chicago, and me and Danny used to we played twice a week, and that was our big money show, $75. Everybody else got 50, but we got so many people to come to one night dollar bill that like if the place was so packed that they gave us $75 for the band. And last shows, we made thousands of dollars last shows in Chicago.
Right.
Because it's, but we would have never made it if we didn't do those shows for $75 in the beginning.
Yeah.
And we played a lot of shows for free.
Well, that's, they have a way of fighting this phenomena. It's minimum wage. It's like they create minimums like union fees, and then basically that's what it does. The people that suffer from it are the people trying to compete.
But the guy, the saxophone player that says don't charge that amount of money, what he was saying is like, listen, if we both charge $200,
they have to pay us $200.
They would take me.
Right.
And then what I can't do, you can do for $200. Right. That's basically what he's saying.
Right.
But
yeah.
But what really happens is like those people will never work if they charge the same amount of money because they don't have the same experience. Right. They're not as good, a lot of them, because they didn't play.
Yeah. And I mean, also, there's so much fuckery happening in the jazz world where people let it degrade to the place it is now, that you created a whole slew of morons hiring you too that don't know the difference, and it's like maybe they, I mean, I a lot of time like giving the audience and just normal people the benefit of the doubt, but every now and again you meet like this ignorant motherfucker who just wants like jazz. I want like it's like what's your favorite song? It's like I really like study music playlist. It's like just like wow,
coffee shop morning.
Yeah, coffee shop mornings, spiritual jazz.
Yeah,
and it's like you are a basic fucking bitch. There is that too.
You know what's the other side of it, which we also saw, and again I'm not gonna name names, but the other side of it is that once we could make more money, a lot of people, especially people that are musicians, that book shows, started being resentful that we ask too much money, right? Because somebody would be like, hey, can you do a show, let's say in Chicago, for like $300, right? And I'd be like, no. Or like in Milwaukee, or like never mind, but a lot of it. If those people hear at me, they're like, oh, he's talking about me. I'm talking about you and another 1,000 people. Like, it happened a lot, right? But somebody's like, well, I used to pay you this. Like, why now you want 3 times as much? It's like, yeah, because that's what I make now. Well, that's what I pay my guys now.
And that's what I'm worth. That's what I can draw. If I go play next door, that's what I'd make at the door.
Yeah. So why would I do it? Why would I dilute my audience and get them to your event when
people don't understand? If you don't want to name what you're worth, there's a way around it. Charge at the door, you'll get what you're worth. You know what I mean? It's like it's not like a bingo or like some sort of weird game where you say a number and you get over or below it and you never know. If you don't take guarantees and you just charge for tickets and make a percentage deal, the better you do. High risk, high gain, and that's really the way to do it. We've seen something time and time again in our career, which is resentment from other musicians. It took me a very long time. That was actually one of the biggest revelations that came to me when I realized that the people you're coming up with are the last to be your fans, the last to give you props, because it's not a simple relationship. They're factoring their own lives too into this equation, and their own success is relative to yours, and they have every incentive to be bitches about it. But the younger generation doesn't feel like they're in competition with. I don't feel like
the older generation.
Yeah, so it's like for me, I don't feel like I'm competing with Scott Henderson on anything, even though I am, on real estate in people's minds. And if we're playing the same city the same night, we're definitely competing, but it doesn't feel like that. It's like I can say nice things about him, and he's obviously one of my heroes. And even if there was like a 20-year-old coming up now, I feel like that's pretty unrelated too. So the people that you're kind of coming up with are really not going to fuck with you initially. They're going to have to fall way in the back of that line after you really do well. It's just kind of like you take a deep breath and you're like, okay, I'm on Team Marbin now, but it's not easy for them. I can see it on them. But something that we've seen time and time again, and really the source of the most resentment is when you have a discussion early on that's divergent and you take one path and somebody else takes another. Like, we had a bassist we used to play with, and he talked shit about touring. Everybody thought we were crazy, really, when we first started. But like with him, I remember it specifically. He said, what do you think's going to happen?
Like, he was telling our drummer at the time to quit and not to be with us because what the fuck are we doing? And it's like, nothing going to happen for me, and what's the fucking point?
What's the point? You're just going to go play like little shitty dive bar gigs forever? Like, what can happen? What can happen? But the truth is, shit can happen. You got to put yourself out there. You got to believe. You got to believe in what you're doing, and you got to set your life up in a way that you're enjoying your life, and that's the thing that we are always great at. A lot of these bands, Danny talked about it before when we saw Corey Wang, what's his name? Corey Wang's band, and they just didn't look like they were having a great time hanging out. It's like everybody was not really saying much, and they were quiet, and we were like, it was my birthday. We're smoking joints on the beach. We had the best day. I went out for poke. We had lots of laughs. We enjoy each other, and we enjoy being together, and we enjoy our life, and we have good meals, and we play music we like. Everything on that level is set up to be as optimized as it possibly could be, because this is your one and only life,
But also we got to that point because we played, we drove like psychopath. We,
and we worked. We just worked.
Yeah,
worked.
People don't know that, but the way we used to do things is we would play a show, finish, play like 3-4 sets, finish between like 2 to 4 a.m. Then we would drive to the next show. It's like it'll be 6-7 hours away, and we will drive all night after playing the show so we can get to the hotel. We sit in the
lobby.
In the lobby. So they let us do early check-in.
Yeah, we'd be like can we do early check-in? It'd be like come back at 1.
And we'd be like, okay, we'll sit here.
Yeah, we'll sit here, and then we just be so obnoxious in the lobby that
until
9 a.m.
the first room they clean, they let us go in.
Just go in.
And and then we would sleep, wake up,
do the
play a show, and then go to sleep again in the same hotel.
So effectively spend 2 nights of sleep for 1 night of paying.
Yeah, so we would be like, we don't sleep for, like in 1 day we sleep all day, and 2 days we don't sleep at all.
So we were awake for 50 hours.
And then done. So we did that. Me and Danny used to have a hot plate that we got on Craigslist, and we bought that in a pan, and we would just buy like a dozen eggs and just cook eggs in it.
We'd eat eggs multiple times a day. Milton loves eggs. Milton! All right.
So, so we did all those things, we discovered Greg, our drummer, on 2014 to 15, his girlfriend discovered that if you go to Chipotle, rice and beans are sides, and sides are like 50 cents.
Yeah, if you get under 3 sides, you can get like rice and beans, like a plate of rice
for
and
like
beans
$1. And so a lot of players are confused, but they understand it because it's like that's how the system works. So we would buy vegetables,
avocado, tomato scallions,
and then sometimes watermelon,
and bring it all to Chipotle and just
then buy rice and beans and just cut it.
Yeah, so we would live for like $5 a day.
Yeah, that was the
continental breakfast every other day and stuff our pockets with like
food. Yeah, so that's what we used to do. So it's like where we are now is because we paved our way to it.
Yeah, it's called paying dues, and there's a lot of those.
That's why people are, when people are like, oh yeah, you just do Facebook. Oh, it's like, can I do what you do? Only skip everything you did.
Right.
It's like, you cannot.
They take a look at that thing, which was a compartment that was critical and timed, but it was definitely not it. But I think the resentment comes from people now, 10 years later, that after we had this conversation and they gave us their heartfelt advice that they took themselves, and they ended up in the same apartment playing the same gigs, no motion in their life, even becoming worse musicians because they don't play as much as they did when they were in college. Not writing songs, not making albums, not making connections, not getting gigs, not doing anything. And then we meet. And it's like, you know, we both had an interpretation of reality that was really rooted in a mixture of fantasy and observation. But the difference between us is that we put ourselves out there and we got to see what the world was like at every turn and adapt.
You know,
it's not like we knew what it was going to be like. We just did what we could to survive from one moment to the next, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
And, you know, some people, you know, what's funny thing is some people, you know, they get their little bit of power. What I was saying, somebody have a little bit of power, they hold to it. So they want, like, their students, for example. Again, a lot of people are going to think that it's them. Like, let's say they have a podcast, or let's say their students ask them to bring us for a clinic, right, for a masterclass. And then we're like, I will not bring Marbin, right? Because it's like, it don't matter what we have, all the students want to see us teach a clinic, because for them it's like, fuck this guy. It's like, I'm not going to give them, they got everything, I'm not going to give them the little bit that I have.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So...
Yeah. Oh, those are my favorite moments, though. It's listen, I have a part of me that's straight up villain. I enjoy this tension. I don't know why I always have like this thing, exactly this dance around the thing, especially with the people that you know are nice to you now, but like one layer underneath, you know what they wish for you, like to just disappear. You know?
That's why I'm always the nicest to everybody, because I was like, I know especially if some people hate us because of, you know, and I'm like, I'm going to be the nicest. So you're going to hate me in your heart, but in your outside, you won't know. It'll give you a dissonance of like, I hate this guy, but he's nice. But I hate him, but he helped me, but I hate him so much. It's like,
listen, I probably would be less helpful to people.
If you hated your life.
If I hated, I mean, it's like, for me, really, anybody, it doesn't matter. It's like, if you want the phone number of a booker, you know, if
whatever you want, I don't care.
Like some guy, like people write me all the time. It's like, send me like selfies of their like right hand. It's like, is this right? And like, you know, I get into it, and it's like, you know, after like 10 minutes, they tire themselves out and they're good. Yeah. You know, it's like, it's fine. Like I see if like you're super famous, you get millions of these a day, how it's not viable to do it. But like, as long as you can,
but
help,
I like
why not?
You know, exactly. I donate some stuff always, and it's like, why not? It's like, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
It's like people asking questions, or like this place didn't have a budget and we really want a clinic when I was in Israel. It's like, I'll do it. Why not? We will have a good time. Yeah. But when I was on vacation, but it's, I don't know. It's if I was hidden, my life probably would be different. But you know, the stuff you said also about the stuff that it creates, that it's not the people decide. It's like people from top to bottom. It's like, that's the same thing with the magazines. It's just we have this sin that we're all. I just listened to a podcast because I'm gonna do a bunch of jazz podcasts to promote the new album, and I was listening to podcasts, and it's like the fakery, and all they try to do is to shroud people's eyes. Like, they're talking about like success and about their album and stuff, but I know the numbers that they're selling. You know what I'm saying? I know it because I know I'm people that are way more successful than you. How much they sell, and that's not shit. So it's like, it's all like lies. It's all fake it till you don't make it. Yeah. Right? And they're all winking at each other, like the festival bookers to the jazz magazines. And I actually wrote this jazz magazine. I was like, listen, they did a thing about fusion. We had an edition about fusion. And I was like, first of all, most of us people don't even play fusion. And I wrote this guy, listen, we sell more albums and sell more tickets than all of us people combined. Like, that you had in the magazines, like all of them. And again, people can think, oh, what are you talking? Like, why are you? It's like I'm not like ego, but like, why am I showing off, right? We worked hard for it, right? And it's like, we worked hard and we did it. And it's like, again, it's not like believe me, we're not rich.
It's this weird cognitive dissonance that it creates.
Not rich, but it's like, but we're like, they don't write about us, right? But even in the Fusion edition.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, at least in the Fusion edition, you can mention us.
Right. No, I agree. It's just that these things are oddly political, and they're little but they're existing in this world where their sphere of power every year it's like shrinking and shrinking.
I know, and they want it, and they don't want people like us that that it's like it's fun, and I like it. I want to be involved. But I also don't care.
What they don't understand, I think, and you see it a lot in the jazz when you talk to like people, even Scott Henderson, Bruce Foreman, they always treat the degradation of the jazz world as an outside force. Something that could not be helped. Something that...
Like the people are just... Like the audience is getting worse.
Americans are fat and stupid now.
Yeah.
And they used to be skinny and smart. It's like, I don't buy it. It's like, what about what you did? What about what you did? Like, it's like the managers wouldn't book us in Mississippi. Why didn't you get a different manager? Why didn't you do it? Yeah. Right? Why didn't you do something about it? Like, why are other people always to blame for all of your misreading of reality?
Yeah, that's what I always think. Like jazz is so much more powerful in person, right? Even people that play now that I don't really like how they play, but even they have enough power in them, a lot of us people that live more known, to at least create something in a city. Right. You know what I mean? It's like, why don't you, if you guys played everywhere, jazz would be in more places. Because people that listen to us, and I'm sure a lot of people can now identify what I'm saying and relate to it. But a lot of you guys, you didn't listen to fusion before Marbin, and you didn't listen to jazz before Marbin. Right. But like you listen to Marbin, and you're like, oh, I'm curious what else there is, because we only have 8 albums out right now, and so it's where you're like, oh, maybe I can listen to also something else after I'm done listening to 8 Marbin albums.
Right.
So, and you all of a sudden discover Coltrane and Miles Davis, and we got it a lot. Like people that said, I discovered jazz because of you guys. So if all those people would get off their ass and were playing shows when the jazz scene was
booming, it was number one for a long time.
Yeah, if they did all that stuff instead of just going to the same three places, right? Then maybe the jazz would be in a completely different place right now.
Well, yeah, but it's like, a lot of people just are rushing to exit.
Yeah, just to take the best, most money they can get right now and then not work more.
Yeah, and then just spiral, like just retire. It's basically a type of retirement. It's not a retirement because they still have to show up and teach at a university, but it's a retirement from the hand-to-mouth nature of this business, which is frightening. I mean, people want 401ks. Yeah. And security net spread for them. But the truth is that, if those are the kind of voices that start whispering in your head, then perhaps you have landed yourself in a life situation that is no longer compatible with the dream you're going for. Yeah. And I think that's really what's happening. You're like, well, what about?
It's true that managers, are... also like, oh, there is no reason to play Monday, right? Booking agents. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't play Monday. And it's not true because we had some of our best shows on Mondays, right? But even if you have a bad show, that's what I always explain to people. Even if I have a bad show and I only, I would still maybe get fed, sell, I'm talking back in the day, right? Now a bad show is a completely different thing, but I'm saying back in the day when nobody would show up, I would still sometimes get fed, get a few drinks, maybe sell a CD or two. And it's like, it's better to make $40 than make $0, and right now it may be like $200 and make $0. And for some people, their bad days now, quote unquote, would be like $500 instead of making 1,000, or 2,000 instead of making 4,000. Right. And it's like, dude, it's still worth it. You're paying for hotels, you're paying your guys, you're working, but everybody's like, oh no, it's not worth me working. Right. And I was like I said, I don't take some gigs. Like, I'm not gonna take a gig that. That I'm playing for free and I can't make money now, but I also didn't have a day off when we played shows, we played every day and didn't have a day off in
6 years or something.
Yeah, since 2014, so I always can get a place that let me at least sell tickets,
right?
But it's like those people are like, yeah, I guess it's, it's not worth it because it's a Monday, we can't make a lot. It's like, yeah, but you can make more than zero, you're already here.
Right.
And it's like, playing is fun. That's the best part.
What? When we were playing in Carbondale, Colorado, like the band that was supposed, we got double booked at Steve's Guitars, and there was a band before us, and then
he double booked us, and then did he try to cancel us, or we just saw it? And I was like, we are not getting canceled. I was like, we booked it, we advertised it, we have people coming, we are not canceling.
And then the other band just didn't play.
Yeah, they were supposed to open for us.
They were supposed to open, and then
we were supposed to split the money, which I didn't like.
They looked inside, and they saw that they're not famous, so they didn't have an audience.
We had an audience.
We had an audience, yeah. But they saw that, like, the people were there to see us, and then they're like, we're not playing, and we're like, we couldn't understand.
And we were supposed to only get like half of the dough because we were on the bill, and which would suck because it's our dough.
Our people, yeah.
But he was like, oh, I promised my people my guys that I pay them X amount of money for every night we play, so I rather just not pay them.
So basically, to clarify the situation, the guy hired drummer, keyboardist, I think, and somebody else, like 3 guys in the band, and bassist. And basically, they were getting paid for every night on the road that they play. So he looked in the room and was like, let's save money by having everybody here just go to the hotel and sleep. Maybe I'll eat like $300 in hotel fees, but I won't owe them, I don't know, $600, like $200 each, whatever he's paying them for tonight. So nobody made any money.
Because it's like, because if I take the 50% of the dough, I'm only going to make like $300, and then I cover the hotel, but I have to pay them $600.
Could you imagine how resentful you are? And these guys are like, okay, so yeah, we charge $200 a day, so we don't play. It's just insanity, right? Because it's like, that's what happens when you charge an amount of money that your boss can't generate. You know what I mean? You get laid off. But you get laid off for some days in a tour, and you're making $0.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that I thought was weird.
When you're negotiating stupid deals, it's like, what's the saying?
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, win stupid prizes, exactly.
Well, when you talk to Scott, that was one thing I thought was weird, that he was complaining about pay by the week. It's like, to me, yeah, you have to pay by the week. You get them for the week.
Right. No. I couldn't. I mean, obviously, what I meant and what Scott meant was different.
I know.
I meant you're paying them too much for the week.
Yeah, I know.
They're paying more than they're worth.
Yeah.
And if they were worth more, then they would, if you were worth more, then you would have more money to pay them.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how you know what you're worth, and that's what you know what you can pay. Look at what's coming in.
Yeah. And you also can't be like, I'm paying them and have no money at the end. It's like, you have to have some... if something happens, you have to have some cash flow. That's another about businesses. You have to have cash flow.
Yeah. Well, they say cash flow is the lubricant that keeps the machine running.
Yeah.
And it's true. And
people don't understand it, but it's like, oh, we used to have people who were like, oh, we made this amount of money. Why aren't we getting it? It's like, dude, because last tour, the van broke, and it cost us $2,500.
Right.
That's why. Right. It's like, because, because we have to print albums, and it's $4,000. Right. It's like, that's why.
Yeah, you're running a business. It's not.
You have to have extra. You have to have extra cash, and if the people in your band don't get it, like Scott said about his people, what happened? He just got the different people. That's what he did.
There's so many musicians right now. Just schools are just shitting them out onto the world, like so thick. Every month, every day, just like boom, boom, bassist, drummer, guitarist, saxophone, doesn't matter, like on everything. Now, of course, a lot of these people that the schools are shitting out into our work market are not skilled yet, but a lot of them are talented. And listen, there is kind of a grooming period when you enter somebody new into your band.
But also, those people, if they're good and they learn, they get more money as it goes. Like
right.
Our band now makes much more and lives in much better condition than our band did before.
Right.
And it's like, that's just the way it is.
Yep.
It's like not just us, just our sidemen.
Yep.
And the more we advance, the more our sidemen advance. And if you're doing your job, you'll stand and you reap the benefit. But people that won't get a gig for 20, that won't take the gig for $20, also won't get $50 and also not get $100. It's just that's the way it is.
Yeah. The moral of the story is, don't price yourself out of labor if you can use the money, because you'll just end up not working.
Well, you need to take what you can, right? So if you can make, I remember there was a guy, there was a drummer that we talked to, and I don't want to get to how much we paid, but we almost paid nothing because we didn't have money, right? But we almost always paid, and it was like, well, I can make twice as that teaching, right, or something like that. Right? Mm-hmm. Or like I can make twice as that teaching, and or 2.5 times that teaching, and I'm at home. I don't have to go on the road. It's like, first of all, going on the road is fucking great, right? That's not like I have to.
Dude, if somebody says that, when you don't realize that going on the road is a privilege, you're not going to survive on the road because you're going to hate it.
Yeah, and also, one job is teaching kids in a guitar store and a music store, and one job is touring with us.
Right.
And touring the United States and the world later with us. So it's not the same job.
No.
Of course you don't get paid the same. You're not doing the same job.
Right.
Yeah,
I know.
So it's like, a lot of people are like that's another thing about singer-songwriter. That's how it started, right?
Yep.
The singer-songwriter. That's the prison of being comfortable. Because a lot of you always need to do something that you would be cool with doing, like that has projection forward to like 50 years from now. Because I see people, one of these guys that Dani was talking about with Divergent Roads, I wrote an article and he freaked out about it, right? And started bad-mouthing it anonymously, but I know it was him. And there is something I say, if you just play a couple weddings a month, and then you also have some coffee shop gigs, and then you play like a gig like for tickets that nobody really comes to, and you're doing and you teach a little bit in a store, and you're doing everything, right? You maybe can make more money. You definitely can make more money than I made when I started Marbin with Dani, right? But do you really want to do it when you're 60? Like, it doesn't lead anywhere. It's not like you're teaching guitar store for $25 an hour, and in 40 years, you're going to teach different 6-year-old for $70 an hour. Yeah. It's not, you don't advance in that kind of business model. So you need to do it. And singer-songwriters, the problem for them is when you're one person, you can make a lot of money for one person. So we just saw this guy.
Leading open mics.
Like, what did you feel about this guy that opened? We opened for him, actually, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were playing as a duo.
Yeah, as a duo.
Yeah. In New Mexico.
What did you think? No, Colorado.
Colorado, right.
What do you think about that?
It was where songwriters go to die.
Yeah, it's like he was very organized. He had all these things organized, and he just
like
does
merch boxes.
And he just does gigs. He has his own PA.
Great PA. Like, everything sounded pristine.
And he plays covers.
Plays covers mostly, interjects an original once in a while. Just, really connected to top 40.
To me, it's like what he's doing is, he's just going from brewery to brewery, waiting to fall asleep in the car and die. That's his life.
Yeah.
But he can't stop. Like, there is no more money in it that he's making.
No, he's making the most you can.
But he's making decent money.
Yeah, he's making adult money.
Yeah, but...
Because it's one guy.
But he's not making enough money to retire.
Never.
So it's like he has to do it playing covers.
This is the thing. The game
and also,
we're playing...
When you're 60... People don't want to hire you. That's why
you're not going to be fun.
Actually, a jazz professor told us that he said that he never thought about it, but he said when you guys go, because we played, we still played some
when you talk to the booker, they want to hire you. They don't want to hire you when you're old.
Yeah, he said it's exciting. You guys are exciting. You're new, you're young, like you bring in something, and like who knows what's going to happen with you guys. You're on the up trajectory, but he said when I talk to them, it's like there is no mystery. Right. So they don't want to book me. It's like, for what?
Right. Right, but they got jazz night. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And that's kind of that's a sad truth. I think the game is to get famous, and this is something that people. Again, it's not for everybody, because obviously, but we always were me and Danny both always really were looking at the best people. We're very elitist in our approach. Obviously, Sonny Rollins, I heard him talking about that, about how there's a lot of space in the world for, not everybody's going to be John Coltrane. There's a lot of people who are just going to be the guy in their town and the guy in their community. And that's fine. That there's nothing wrong with it. But still, even if you hear that and you find some comfort in it, it's too easy to hide behind that. From even your life to be good needs to have forward motion. Even if you're not going to be John Coltrane, and that's fine. I'm not going to be John Coltrane either. John Coltrane had a massive impact on the jazz world that both me and Danny will never have. Right? It's too, some success stories are simply, monumental, and that's fine. but we don't know how our story ends, and you don't know how yours does either.
Even in your town, there is a lot of stuff that you can go, because you see some people that are just creating like an entire generation of people that listen to music, an entire scene are behind them.
But
like the guy in Minot in North Dakota.
It's not even. It's also more of an internal journey. Can you play 16th notes with like an A minor pentatonic in 120? No. It's like yes. If it's yes, can you do it in 125, 130, 140? Like where do you stop? Like do you check your boundaries? Do you compare them to the boundaries of the people you like? Are you pushing forward? Are you developing the kind of skills that your heroes have? Those are the questions, and I think it's like that forward push is really.
This also connects to what we talked about last time. That the problem is that a lot of people understand what we understood also very quickly. That if we want to make it doing what we want to do, we have to be known. Like we have to be famous. And I think that people see how people get likes and they've and views, and they mistaken that for famous.
Right.
So it's like a lot of jazz musicians now would post themselves transcribing a solo, and everybody would be like, oh my God, this is such a good transcription, and they get all their friends to comment and all the people that are in school. But it's not the type of famous or like the guy that I said that did the giant steps on Southern Miles or whatever. It's not the kind of famous you want, because nobody's gonna buy your CD.
Right.
Because you transcribe a Coltrane solo. And nobody's gonna go to your show because you put on a dress and play the 1,000 miles reharmonized as giant steps.
Yeah,
right? So it's like you wanna be, like if you wanna do what we're doing and you wanna be known as a musician, you need to take the long route, which is be known for
your music.
For your music.
For you need to write music and record it and perform it, and that music needs to become a part of people's mental.
And it also takes forever.
Landscape.
It's like our first successful album was our fifth album.
Yeah, aggressive.
But I think our albums before are also great.
Yeah,
and
great.
we have a lot of people that it's their favorite album would be the third set, or even the first one. A lot of people are Last Chapter or Dreaming. It's their favorite album.
All the prog people don't like our live in the studio kind of.
Yeah, they love Last Chapter.
Produced.
Yeah, the Last Chapter one. And a lot of the jam people like third set. Or metal people even.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying it's like it takes a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, you leave like this breadcrumb of music, and that breadcrumb is really the point. I mean, I think for a musician 200 years ago, all you had was the moment, because you're just drawing in time. You're just giving people experiences, and best case scenario, you're leaving a piece of paper with instructions on how to recreate what you have done. But now, with recording, I mean, again, I'm less into recording than I used to be. It lost a little bit of its appeal to me. You look like you have a funny.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the CSO. You told me that they have like an ambulance outside because they bore people to death, right? One one who told me that one told me that we have ambulances outside because every time we have people dying in the concert, because we're boring them to death. That's what I was thinking. It's like for Mozart on his deathbed, he was like, I wish I could bore people to death 200 years from now. It's like, wish granted.
It's one of the best moments of my life, like best jokes that I've ever seen delivered was right outside the CSO. There's this old lady trying to enter the hall wearing like a mink coat and like jewelry. She's like in her like late 70s, early 80s. And this massive homeless guy, right? Like black guy, huge guy. And he's just like looking at her. It's like, hey, want to hear a joke? And she's like, what? He's like,
no. Does he ask her a joke? Okay,
yeah. And she's like, what? And she's trying to run away from him. And she's like, what was Beethoven's favorite fruit? She's like, what? And he goes, banana.
Banana. Yeah.
It was so good.
It's
the
great.
Expression. It was like to see it play out in real life.
Well, a lot of people, I met him. He asked me that.
Yeah.
And I told him, banana. He was not happy. He was like, that's all I've got, motherfucker, basically.
Yeah, you're like Dane Cook.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's all I got, and you took it from me.
Right.
All right. It's like, that's like you're famous.
Yeah, this would be a good place to wrap it up. It can't go any higher than banana. So places to check us out. First of all, subscribe to this podcast wherever you get it, and leave comments if you guys want us to talk about anything. We're happy to do it, and we check all the time. If you're leaving comments, you can email us the comments at marbinmusic@gmail.com. Also, all of our music is available at marbinmusic.bandcamp.com.
Including a free album.
Free album there. It's a sampler. If you guys, for some reason, don't have Spotify.
No, I told you if you don't have Spotify, if you have limited data, and you need to download it to your phone.
That's right. And then follow us at facebook.com/MarbinMusic.
And also we have a GoFundMe now for an exciting business venture.
Right, a new app we're building.
Music Collective on GoFundMe.
Music Collective. It's not a communist thing. All right, talk to you soon.